Half an hour of racing began with pole sitter Jamo Hartling running down to the first corner with the lead. But it was Mackenzie Cresswell who would challenge early on. They were side by side through the early corners in a fabulous racing sequence that the elite motorsport McLaren would ultimately come out on top of. Meanwhile, further back, Maximilian Schreier had his first of a couple of dramas during the race. Managed to get himself out of this predicament and another couple on his way to a solid result, all things considered. Managed to get the car back on the way at the very back of the field. From this point of the race, on just the first lap, he had some work to do. Meanwhile, Owen Hizzy was doing a lot of work early doors. He went from 9th on the grid to just outside the podium places within the first few minutes of the race. Thilo Gus struggling a little bit in the older Aston Martin in these very treacherous conditions. The club class therefore would go quite nicely to Monteros Competicios. Meanwhile, Maximilian Schreier was having a fabulous battle with Baudouin Detu of Racing Spirit of Le Mans. These guys would exchange numerous times across the race, and mistakes would plague both at various points. Detu losing the rear end, going through Parabolica Interior, and who would rejoin behind him but Maximilian Schreier. Battle resumes then after Schreier found himself in the gravel a couple of laps prior to Detu's spin, and it would be a couple of laps of very exciting side-by-side action between Schreier and Detu. This was for 6th position, in fact 7th position at this stage of the race, almost coming to blows out of the Lamy bend, turn 3, too deep into the corner. Went the number 31 on the following lap, but he'd learnt some lessons from a lap prior. He had the outside line going into Lamy, but this time he made the cut back to the inside at the perfect moment and surged through into 7th place, and he wasn't done yet. Meanwhile, Mackenzie Cresswell was all on his own out at the front of the order, building a 15-second gap and then retaining and gradually growing it as Peter Terting found his way past Jamo Hartling for 2nd position overall, the Pro-Am winning Porsche, as it would prove to be, having a great race with the ex-DTM and World Touring Car star at the helm of the controls. Hizzy would finish 4th position despite a late challenge from Cedric Fuchs. Meanwhile, Mackenzie Cresswell just negotiating the circuit to perfection. W&S Motorsports with some maybe some slightly raised heartbeats as Maximilian Schreier tried to find his way past Nico Grundel, which is something he succeeded at doing coming out of the Ganshow chicane. This was for 6th position, where the number 31 car would ultimately finish. Both cars would finish 3rd in their respective classes, Pro and Pro-Am. Had to make their way through some lap traffic in these treacherous conditions. Thilo Gus having another moment that I don't think we saw live. But in these difficult conditions, I think very few drivers got out of it scot-free. But one of the drivers who did was our winner, Mackenzie Cresswell, who came home on the top step ahead of Terting and Jamo Hartling. A very well-deserved victory then for Elite Motorsport, 17 seconds clear. Mackenzie Cresswell at the conclusion of the race in the Elite McLaren Artura GT4. In 2nd position, it was the Plus Line Racing team. Porsche Cayman, the Pro-Am winning car of Peter Terting. Jamo Hartling, 2nd in Pro, 3rd overall in the SR Motorsport Mercedes. Owen Hizzy in the SVG Ginetta, 2nd in Pro-Am, 4th in the race. 5th place to Cedric Fuchs in the Cayman Trophy car, who was flying. Maximilian Schreier rounding out the Pro podium ahead of Nico Grundel. Baudouin Detu with certainly a busy race in 8th place. Callum Davis in P9. Ravi Ramid for Century Motorsport, an invitational class car, finishing 10th overall. SR Motorsport by Schnitzel-Alms. Luis Sakala in 11th place and 2nd in the Cayman Trophy. Rui Morita in the 32, winning the club class ahead of Thilo Gus of Muka Motorsport.